Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Here's the deal. We won as the loss last time. Sure, we could go back to playing as Eden. Where's the fun in that? Let's be the lost. There's a Game of Thrones quote. I forget how it ends, but be a dragon. Can you... Dude, what a blast from the past. Game of Thrones. Remember that show? I don't necessarily want to go into it. I will say... just struck me how people are like, and by people, I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong, myself included, you know, we're like, oh, dude, season 8, I'm so excited, even though season 7 wasn't my favorite. Let's see how it ends. Like 2 years of anticipation. Now this season's been over for like a month, and people are like, I forgot I watched that show for 8 years. Anyway, dude, I don't mean to be negative to Game of Thrones, but I've been watching Better Call Saul, as mentioned, and let me tell you, let me tell you one thing. I'm not going to take Super Magnet, but Season 1 of that show, I was like, it's good. Season 2 of that show, I was like, oh, I get it. You're really hitting your stride. I'm on Season 3 right now, and I'm like, dude, this is one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. Every shot, every prop, every line is designed to convey a message. It's a dream come true. It's reintroducing me to the artistry of television. Sorry, I can't talk. I can't come to the phone right now because I'm in a tight room with an enemy who wants me dead. Are you seeing this? Is the Captain America Winter Soldier elevator fight scene. We're parrying blows from all people. Why don't you say the line, NL? Parrying blows from all comers. Just sounds weird coming out of my mouth, to be honest with you. Just doesn't feel right. I'm not trying to get on Google DeepMind's bad side. Anyway, you know, Game of Thrones, Better Call Saul, Avengers allegory. I'm trying to think of what else. What have I been talking a lot about? I'm 30. I've been working out, etc., etc. No, I got no gym anecdotes. You know what I do have an anecdote for? Pokemon Go. Still enhanced raid hours, real raid hours. Who's up? You guys catch any Kyogres this week? Kyogre? I don't know, dude, because I'm getting embarrassed because, like, everybody else played the other Pokemon games, so I don't know any of the pronunciations. You know how, like, when you were a kid, well, I shouldn't say when I was a kid, my mom was like, oh, did you catch that Pikachu? And you go, Mom, it's not Pikachu. It's Pikachu. Don't you watch anime? And she'd be like, what, anime? Anyway. That's what I'm like now. There's a few Pokemon that, I mean, you can pronounce their names so easily, right? Like, Piplup. You're not gonna mispronounce Piplup. You'd have to say it fast. It's Piplup. You could say Piplup, but it's not even. It's just you're putting on airs. Slugma. That's an easy one. Believe that a lot of streamers came down with that last year. It's very weird of them to name a Pokemon after a disease that afflicted so many popular streamers, but man, that was last year. Time flies. A simpler time. When the biggest meme was trying to tell streamers to slug my balls. Anyway. Where was I going with this? There was some, I forget. But anyway, I was trying to catch big whale Pokemon Kyogre. Though it's a harder Pokemon to catch, you know. It's got 55,000 combat power. I will say, we entered, maybe, yeah, we should try it. You know, we entered, you got an hour, every gym spawns this raid, like Wednesday nights, for the same legendary Pokemon. It's like, imagine if you went to Friday Night Magic and for 15 minutes, every pack you opened had, like, the same mythic. Some days you'd be like, dude, I don't have to go, because this mythic blows. Some days, you'd be like, dude, I gotta be there. I'm gonna open, like, 15 packs. That's basically what this raid was, but I gotta tell you, I failed at catching 3 Kyogres. 3 big whales. Why am I not devastated? how am I emotionally capable to keep streaming right now, even though I didn't get my large whale son, my large cetacean son? Well, it's because I did catch one, and it's a shiny. That's absolutely right. You know what the funny thing is? I know you're like, I don't care about Pokemon Go. Whatever, dude. It's real to me, okay? The funny thing is, you know, these big legendary Pokemon, sometimes they're hard to catch. You only get a certain number of balls. And, you know, whatever. You get the general gist of it. But the legendaries that are shiny are guaranteed to be caught. So on all the other ones, I'm like, I got sweat dripping down my face trying to throw these great or excellent curveballs, and all of a sudden they're giving me the middle finger as soon as the ball gets close to them. This one, I was like, oh, we got him. He's locked in. Boonk. Toss him into the ether. Anyway, that's what's going on in my life. That's my Wednesday. It's been fine, you know. Pokemon Go's good. Weather could be nicer, but I'm kind of just in like a holding pattern. You know, my parents come here this Saturday. We used to do, you know, I would go to see my parents. They live in Ontario. I would go and see them. Usually Kate would come too. In the summertime, but here's the thing. Vancouver in the summertime is beautiful. Where they live in the summertime, it's not bad. And I don't want to say that it's bad, but sometimes it's a little bit too hot. But then, Vancouver in the winter time, when they normally come, and they came here for the World Juniors this year, it rains all the time. So I think I appealed to my parents for the sense of civic pride that lives within myself. They keep coming to Vancouver in the wintertime and being like, I don't understand why people like it so much. And I'm like, just come back this summer. We'll go to Kingston in the winter. If somebody's gotta be, if somebody's gotta be suffering, I'd rather suffer, you know, in a city that I've suffered in. I already know it gets cold. Whatever, you'll get over it. I don't think we want any of this. It's touchy. Like maybe you can make the 7 Seal work or whatever the heck it's called. I don't really want to go for it. So I'm excited they're gonna be here when the weather's nice. Sure, now that I said that, maybe it'll rain the whole time. You know, say good food, good friends, better ingredients. Papa John's. It's just sometimes I get on my brain fixates on slogans. There's a lot of slogans out there. Why not? And you know what? I think we'll hold it for a while. Isn't it better food? Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's a good slogan. I'm not saying anything about John Shatner as a person. Made some very troubling comments, obviously. Was removed from his position of, you know, management at Papa John's. I feel like if you run a local pizzeria and you have terrible opinions on things, that's okay. I mean, it's not okay on a social level, but people are like, yeah, the guy who owns that pizza shop is kind of a jerk. But when, you know, you're advertising on children's television programs, you really gotta get the gag order out. You gotta make sure you're briefed on the way to deal with the media in situations like that. Anyway, that's why I'm so non-controversial. It's because I run a Globo multinational bland. That was almost too fitting. I didn't even want to lampshade it that hard. Anyway, I'm trying to think of some other slogans that, you know. I mean, I'm loving it. I feel like, you know, you gotta know these companies, at least the big ones, are putting like probably tens of thousands up to millions of market research into their slogans, and the slogan is something always like, you know, fresh beef. They get a group of like, you know, 75 people in a room together. They cover a cross section of, you know, the demographics of North America or even the world, and then they're like, do you hold up your hand if you feel that you would trust a burger that comes from a place that slogan was fresh beef? And then, like, you know, 85% of the people put up their hand, and then you gotta ask follow-up questions. Very interesting. Jennifer, you didn't put up your hand when we asked, so that means you don't trust the slogan fresh beef? Jennifer would be like, I just think if they have to tell us it's fresh, something's not right. And you go, oh, very interesting, Jennifer. Thank you so much for your feedback. And you write that on a clipboard and you pass it, you know, up the chain to somebody who's making like $15,000 a day to review this feedback. White Christian mothers in their 30s feel that fresh beef is a very suspicious slogan. It conjures emotions in them of distrust. What about fresher beef? I don't know, you get the idea. I'm loving it. You know, if I'm rating this on the slogan scale, that's getting a Gabe slogan. The protagonist of the 1999 PlayStation 1 game Siphon Filter. Gabe slogan. Could be worse. Could be a slogan Paul. Okay? That's all I'm saying. What is a Burger King? Have it your way. See, that one, that's a little bit more threatening to me. That gets a slogan International Airport. It scares me. Have it your way is usually what you say to somebody when you're sick of arguing with them. That, you know, no good sense will ever prevail for this. I walked right into it. Will ever prevail for this person. You're like, okay, fine, have it your way. You want a burger with no bottom bun and the cheese on the bottom of the patty? Okay, fine. You get a dirty burger. You asked for it. Have it your way. I don't like it. I mean, as far as fast food slogans go, there's some not bad ones, though. You know what I think is a good slogan? Finger licking good. It's snappy. You know, when you say it, you're like, you know, it sounds nice coming out of your mouth. And also, I mean, that's a slogan that, probably just that slogan itself has inspired more licking of the fingers than any other slogan in human history, you have to imagine, right? I don't know if you should be licking your fingers to begin with. This is an unpopular opinion, okay? I know I get into this now and then. I want to go back to the slogan. I think there's more stuff to mine there. Let me caffeinate real quick. But first, I have to tell you, people judge me because I eat a lot of foods that are considered hand foods, or finger foods maybe, with, well, finger foods, those are like, you know, cucumber sandwiches at high tea and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know, like, if you ate like a hamburger with a fork and knife. That's what I'm talking about. Now, have I done that? Yes. And I'm not ashamed. It's not, rarely, if ever, has there been a situation where I've said to myself, oh, a hamburger could pass the fork and knife, please. But sometimes the hamburger is just too tall. Sometimes it's fallen apart. Sometimes, you know, because of the construction of the burger, bad toothpick placement, it ends up being, you know, your final bites are like, you know, 95% sugary bun, and like 5% lettuce with a little bit of mayonnaise on it. That's where I say, you know what? I was just trying to see who's left because I'm scared. That's where I say, get the knife and fork out. See if you can extract a little bit of ham from that burger. But, one of the foods, and there's some I'll argue for and some I won't. Like, I still think it's dumb that people make fun of me for eating pizza with a knife and fork. It's not something I always do, but pizza is hot, and I feel like your hand can take less heat than the inside of your mouth can. So to use a knife and fork, cut off just an easy tiny piece. Plus, you know what the real benefit is? You don't have to hold the food the whole time. I'll just tell you for a fact, this is not going to work with, you know, blank, well, you know what, actually, okay. I thought it was worth a try to see if maybe we could still hold it, but whatever. Might as well take this, I guess, but, the main benefit of a knife and fork is the implication that you also have a plate, which means you don't have to hold the food the whole time you're eating it. You know, if you get a phone call, you can take the phone call, go back to eating the pizza. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to say it's not acceptable to eat a piece of pizza with your hands. I do it all the time. Most of the time, in fact. You might say, but NL, that gets a plate dirty. Well, if you're eating the pizza, it's got a, you know, it's topping rich. Sometimes some toppings are going to fall off to begin with. That's where you get the plate. I know you. You're watching this video. You're like, that never happens to me. Tomorrow night, you're going to be eating a pizza, eating little bits of sausage that crumbled onto your desk. I don't want to do that. My desk is dirty. You know what? I'm scared. Take me out of here. Let's try again. But one that I think that people are leaving, like, they're wrong, in my opinion, is fried chicken. I usually eat fried chicken with my hands, because that's, you know, if you're eating KFC, that's the way we've been taught to do it, right? But then we've been eating some, you know, Korean fried chicken on occasion lately, and I've just been using chopsticks. Dude, it's illuminated this for me. You don't, we eat using chopsticks at home all the time. It's not for everybody. Not all the time, I should say, you know, when appropriate. But I'm telling you, for fried chicken, you don't have to use chopsticks. Consider using a knife and fork. There's the amount of positives here are myriad, I promise you. For one, fried chicken is usually pretty greasy. For two, you know, you can slice off an appropriate amount of chicken. Instead of, you know what happens when you bite into fried chicken? So often, you know, the incisors, they don't really do an incredible job necessarily of tearing the skin. You end up eating a whole big bite of fried chicken skin, and then the rest of the chicken is skinless, which is like, look, if you're not down with the fried chicken skin, I don't know what to tell you. It's the best part. Anyway, you know, with a knife and a fork, you get around that. I don't know if we should try this, dude. This is a little touchier than our previous run, even with Mom's knife. But, moreover, when you get, you're probably like, how am I supposed to extract all the meat off the bone without the fine control of my actual hand? You know what? You got me, brother. That's where you're right. However, once you eat the entire outside of the fried chicken, and you're getting to the point where you're like, I want to extract all the meat from these bones, you can pick up the relatively less greasy chicken and rotate it and eat it that way. Those are my 2 cents on the subject. I'm a knife and fork man. I wash my hands a lot as well. Not to like the degree of being obsessive compulsive, but every time I, you know, think like, should I wash my hands? I don't know, it's probably like 7 or 8 times a day, you know, usually when you come out of the bathroom. I go, should I wash my hands? And here's what crosses my mind. Do I want to get sick? And then the answer to that question is always no. And then I realized that because I've thought, should I do this? I have to do it, because if I don't do it now, why would you buy a spear at heart? If I don't do it now, it's like, you know, that's the reason that it's gonna happen. Anyway, let's go back to slogans, dude. I'm trying to think of, you know, it's all coming from television advertisements, you know? Subway, eat fresh. As much as I don't respect the Subway Corporation, you know, at least Subway Canada, I think eat fresh is a great slogan for a company that's it's how you know it's a great slogan. By that slogan and a couple of dudes who lost a substantial amount of weight eating sandwiches, they managed to convince an entire continent, if not the globe, that eating a foot of bread was somehow good for you. And they managed to, if they didn't convince you of that, there's still a lot of people out there like, well, it's not good for you, but it's better than eating a small order of French fries. No, it ain't, okay? Now, trust me, your boy, he's one of the best bread eaters on planet Earth. I love bread. That's why I don't buy it very often. Otherwise, if I bought it, I would eat a lot of it. I'm not trying to villainize bread. I'm not giving you 12 nutritional rules for life, you know? You can figure it out for yourself. Trying not to talk about that stuff that much on the internet, believe it or not, because it invites criticism. Probably, okay, dude, this is a very strange run, because there was absolutely no reason not to take those guys, especially considering we also have the box of friends. No comment. Obviously should have taken them. My bad. But irrespective of my feelings of the Subway Corporation, eat fresh, I'll call it. Good slogan. That's like the 2017 James Mangold film slogan that, you know, brought the X-Men franchise into a more mature adult era that was subsequently ruined by the release of Dark Phoenix. Next question. I don't wish to explode on this room, so we're just gonna take it real slow. This is comical. Please just watch out for the one that explodes. Got him. A little nervous. It's okay. Well, if only we had a spacebar item that had some kind of cumulative benefit here. Not that that would have been... what did we have before? Pandora's box. Yeah, it wouldn't have been Pandora's box, but still. I think I'm out of slogans, dude. What's Wendy's slogan? I gotta... open great, or open late, eat great, even late. Wendy's slogan. In Canada, it's way delicious. It's Wendy's. Wendy's slogan was last changed to deliciously different in 2016, according to Adage. Or Adage? I don't know. I don't subscribe to a magazine that covers trends in fast food commercials. Honestly, though, it might be a good... I could probably write it off, given that this episode exists. We're probably dead. The matriarch, I'm telling you, the existence of this boss has ended more runs than any other single enemy in Isaac. Just be cool for a moment. These guys do... Don't they send out some garbage after you? Apparently not. Holy crap, we're gonna live. Wow, that's wild, dude. I gotta say, deliciously different does not strike me. Like, we might as well have taken it. Okay, fine. You know what? Like, I'll take it just to get closer to Bookworm. If it'll make you happy. It'll make up for our earlier mistakes there. I can't believe we lived. Deliciously different, in my opinion, is... I'm not saying it's a bad slogan, but it's a slogan that does invite questions, doesn't it? It seems like it's more the slogan of, like, an adult shop as opposed to, like, a company that sells hamburgers, but square. So, I don't know, deliciously different. We leave some of the skin on our potatoes when we fry them. I mean, that's like... You can aim bigger. You know what the Wendy's slogan should be? This is probably illegal, but... should be, like, better than the other guys. Because when I think of Wendy's, I think of... and I will say, for me personally... I mean, I eat at a Wendy's probably once a year. And it's usually when I'm at my parents' house. But when I think of Wendy's, I always think, as I'm eating something, I'm like, could be worse. Could be having it my way, if you know what I mean. It's always interesting to figure out fast food power rankings in other countries. Some countries, Burger King is good. I'm not trying to take shots at Burger King. I remember there was a time, Burger King restaurant in my hometown, one of the very few fast food restaurants I've ever been to in my entire life, that was 2 stories. And I remember being like, you know, when you go upstairs, it was like, oh, sitting in the lounge tonight, Mr. Letourneau. Okay. We'll check in on you later. Now, like, the Burger Kings, I think it's a Canada-wide thing. Like, the Burger Kings in Canada are pretty sketchy. And, I mean, I will say there was a Burger King in San Francisco near, what is it called? The Square? I forget what the square's called. You know, hold on. Let me vet the bit. Square, San Francisco. What's the something Square, dude? No, not Square the company, although I like them. Union Square. That's it. There's a Burger King near there, and I was at a media event, or maybe it was when Cade and I were there, like a few years ago, like 5 years ago. But I like went to the Burger King, and I was like, it was maybe 11:30 at night, so it was getting a little late. And I was like, it's a little sketchy, but I'm not, you know, it's not unusual for a fast food restaurant that's open 24 hours to have a little bit of a turn, you know, at some point. You know, when the sun goes down, it starts to get a little stranger. I'm familiar. It's not like Vancouver's any exception to that. Then the next day, people were like, hey, did you see the news? And I was like, what's up? Because I talk like that. What's up? And then they say, you know that Burger King on Bush Street? Yeah, somebody got stabbed to death there last night. And I'm like, oh. Now, I'm not saying I almost died. I keep to myself, and I have to imagine the stabbing, in all likelihood, it was probably between people who had some history or an awareness of one another. But still, I'm lucky to be here, that's all I'm saying. Very weird questions in my Google sidebar now as a result of the Wendy's Googling. What is Wendy's catchphrase? Fair enough. What is Chili's slogan? All right. How old is Wendy from Wendy's? It's a cartoon. Why asking the question? It seems very strange to me. I don't understand. Sorry, I was looking at more slogans. I think we have a chance here. I would love a card. I'm surprised we made it here, to be honest. Hold on. What is Arby's slogan? Oh, no. Arby's. We have the meats. Can I say that you gotta love Arby's? I've never eaten at an Arby's in living memory. Certainly not since becoming an adult. That's not even close, by the way. I think we might have stopped at an Arby's on a road trip when I was like 10. They're not that popular here, to be fair. It's not like I've been actively like dodging Arby's my whole life, but everything I know about Arby's, apart from, you know, their Twitter presence, is just like, yeah, we sell meat-based sandwiches. What do you want from us? Arby's. We have the meats. That's a totally... I honestly, I like real slogans. Because sometimes, I don't know what a restaurant's all about. Like, there's this restaurant chain in Canada that's been popping off, expanding a little bit over the years. It's called Freshie. Now, for me, I don't know if anybody else has cultural overlap here. Freshie, for me, is Kool-Aid, but cheaper. I don't know if this is a Canadian thing or if it's a rural thing, but when I hear Freshie, and it's in this case it would be Freshey, I think. I think of cheap Kool-Aid. That, like, I mean, to be honest, you'd go to like your friend's house and they'd be like, "You want some orange juice?" And then you'd be like, "Sure," and then they would pour you a like nuclear orange liquid, and because you're a kid, you would say, "Yo, dope." As an adult, you'd be like, what is this? It's like high C, kind of, but again, cheaper. Lucky to live through that room. Scary room as well. I loved high C as a kid. Like Ecto Cooler. You're like, dude, it's just sugar and water. It's the greatest drink of all time. Anyway. Now, Freshie is like a healthy chain of quick service restaurants in Canada. But because I think their slogan is like, eat and energize. I don't know what that means. In fact, I would go a step further and say that I don't think it means anything. First off, eat is not a good slogan for a restaurant. I'm aware. This isn't my first rodeo. I've been to a few of them in my life. You gotta do a little bit better than that. Energize, that one I'm just like, are you selling like caffeinated soups? I don't get it. On a literal level, of course, all eating is energizing as long as you take it in calories. We had to check. I don't want to pop that, have it be paralysis. I don't know what that... I mean, it tells me it's healthy. What it doesn't tell me is what you sell. Oh my god, we didn't get hit. Keep up the good work. Oh, I hate it. Don't beam me, bro! I must have panic placed a bomb. Oh my god. This is 100% the best adversary fight I've ever had. They shot more beams at me than I ever would have expected. Way over my LD50 for beams. And we dodged them all. We didn't even get hit once. I would have bet the freaking farm on us getting hit once. Would have probably put down a sizable bet on us getting hit twice just to stave off the pain in the case that it happened. I'm not going to pop the pill. It's too dangerous to take it in and pop it. So, I mean, we're on the final room. Just take it slow. You know, you got a bandage girl's up there doing her thing. Obviously, like, bare minimum, we want to be like past the halfway mark before we lose our holy mantle. I gotta tell you, we didn't play a perfect game, and on a tactical level, I would say we actually played a bad game. But on a actual moment-to-moment dodging level, we did really well there. Dude, we got a loss streak, sort of. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, click the like button. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And of course, eat fresh. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!